I'm Lloyd Chapman. I'm the founder of the American Small Business League and most recently the Don't Cheat Women Project. So people ask me, what prompted me to start the Don't Cheat Women Project? It's kind of a roundabout thing, and I'll tell you. I was just banging around on the internet, and a story popped up that said that most of the people that have been killed since 9/11, what they call the War on Terror, were women and children. And I started looking into it, and I found out that that was true. And I was shocked at that. And I came across a video, I shouldn't say video, a picture of a pile of dead children somewhere in the Middle East. And I almost started crying. It was horrifying, right? It really upset me. And I started thinking about it, and I had kind of worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign a little bit. And I met with her and talked with her about my issues about small businesses. And I started thinking, you know, women are sort of nurturing by their nature. They're mothers, right? And men, by their nature, are more violent than women, right? And when you look around the world at, you know, since, you know, going back, you know, thousands of years, men, you know, Genghis Khan, Hitler, Mussolini, right? All those guys, right? So my thinking was, if we can get more women in government and more women in higher positions in government and maybe a woman president, that maybe fewer women and children will be killed by American-made weapons around the world, right? And so I started thinking, okay, what can I do? I've known, by the way, for 40 years that the federal goal for contracting with women-owned small business was 5%. I've known that for 40 years. I was driving down the highway here one day, and it hit me. That means men get 95% of all contracts. That didn't sound fair. So women are half the population. They pay their taxes. They own 43% of the businesses. And no year in history have women-owned small businesses gotten even 5% of all federal contracts. There's that 5% goal. The government only claimed that they hit it, I think, twice, and they never did actually. When the government puts out a claim they hit those small business goals, they actually exclude, I would say, the majority of acquisitions. They juggle the books, you know, whatever, to make it look like they hit the goal, and actually they never have. But so at no time in history have the women of America, half the voters, half the population, ever gotten even 5% of the contracts, right? So I found out that men make 76% of the political contributions. Well, that explains, you know, one reason why men have all the key positions in government, right? We've never had a female president. And if I can get this goal change from 5 to 15, that's going to direct, billions in existing federal infrastructure spending into what I call the woman-owned small business economy. The Senate Small Business Committee did a study, I think, like 10, 15 years ago, that for every 1% contracts of small business go up, it creates 100,000 net new jobs a year. So a 10% increase would create 1 million net new jobs. Well, in 2025, the government only claimed to produce, I think, 574,000 net new jobs. Another 1 million jobs would be, you know, a huge, you know, increase. When the jobs report comes out every month, the stock market goes up and down based on that jobs report. A strong jobs report, the stock market goes up. A weak, it goes down. Those fluctuations are like 5 and 10%. Think what would happen, by the way, if the jobs numbers went up 100%. That would cause a huge boom in the stock market, and I think probably an economic boom across the country. I think it would. It would cut unemployment. It would create jobs, increase tax revenue. But my plan, I think, is it's no new taxes, no new spending, deficit neutral, and it's fair and equitable. Women need a more equitable share of federal contracts. It's not fair to give men 95%. The funny thing about the Don't Cheat Women Project is, as soon as I start talking about increasing the goal for women, Republicans in Congress passed a law to completely eliminate it. Senator Mike Lee out of Utah and some other guy, I forgot where he's from. Yeah, they've got a bill right now that will eliminate the federal contracting goal for women and minorities. That'll kill about over 1 million jobs a year, and probably prompt a noticeable economic downturn, to what end? What's the upside? I can't think of one. There isn't one, right? But yeah, so I'd like to educate and motivate the women in America to call your congressmen, call your senators, anybody that you know in the media, the press, women's groups. You need to oppose this bill by Mike Lee that will eliminate the federal contract to go for not only women but minorities, and it will allow the government to give every penny they spend to companies owned by white men or non-minority men. That's probably illegal, by the way. I would imagine that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act. But yeah, I want to motivate women out there to support my, I shouldn't call it a bill, it's a draft legislation I've written. I hope to turn it into a bill pretty soon, and I hope to get it introduced into Congress sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, right? So yeah, my legislation would increase the goal for women-owned small businesses from 5 to 10, create 1 million jobs, be a huge increase in net new jobs, create a significant economic boom. The bill that Mike Lee has in the Senate and the one that they have in the House will kill 1 million jobs. So we have two choices. You want to create jobs or you want to kill jobs. Lloyd Chapman's bill, I should call it, it's not a bill yet, I hope to be a bill pretty soon. My draft legislation will create 1 million jobs. Mike Lee's will kill 1 million jobs. Right now in America, we're going to lose millions of jobs a year to AI, artificial intelligence, right? I'm sure you've noticed, you go to the airport, you check your bag in and get a little kiosk and do your whole thing there. I was in a huge hardware store the other day. This thing must have been 100,000 square feet. Nobody's working there. There's nobody working there. You have to go to the self-checkout thing, right? My favorite grocery store down the street here, it's self-checkout stuff, right? But AI is going to kill millions of jobs. If we don't find some way to replace those jobs, America is going to have, I would say, a significant economic downturn. Significant, right? I just saw on the news today we're $40 trillion in debt. It goes up, I think, another $1 trillion every 100 days. So something needs to happen to address the job losses that we're having because of AI and the historic job losses we're having in this country. Again, 2025 was, I think, an 80% reduction, 85% reduction from 2022. Something needs to happen. And again, small business, most Americans work for small businesses. They're responsible for half the gross domestic product, half the private sector workforce. I think about over 90% of net new jobs. States and the government need to do things to get more money into small businesses where the jobs are created, right? So again, I hope that everybody supports what I'm trying to do because it's going to create jobs. I hope everybody opposes the bill that Mike Lee has that's going to kill jobs, right? All right, thanks a lot. I'm Lloyd Chapman, founder of the American Small Business League and the Don't Cheat Women Project. Help me. I need some help. If you know anybody in the media, give them a call. All right, thanks.